Alright, so now you've been downloading the programs, and I'm sure that you want to try them out. Before you try them out, I highly recommend you to make a backup of the entire Trigon 6, so you won't lose any data if anything goes wrong. In order to make a backup of the Trigon 6, you need a program that can record sysx data, and to make the restore later on if you want, you need to send the sysx data back to the synthesizer. And it's very easy to do this. This is much simpler than you can imagine. So you need a program that can do this, and for Mac OS I'm using sysx librarian. If you are using a PC, you have a program called MIDI-OX. Both of them are free to get. So in my case we need to set up, like in everyone's case, we need to set up the connection correctly. Here in the list menu you can select what connection you have to the Trigon 6. It's labeled Trigon 6 as I'm using a USB cable connected directly from computer to the synth. And what you want to do now is to make sure that your synthesizer is correctly set up to be able to receive the sysx data and being able to get it back. In order to do this, you need to toggle this global menu, press it once, and the red LED, which is located on the left side on the button, will lit up. And then you have to go to the 8 option and press it. And here you see it says USB. You can select between by pressing these two buttons. It might stand MIDI, it might stand USB. So this means that sysx will be received over USB. So in my case this is a correct setup now. In your case, if you're connected to MIDI, you select this option. And I'm going to use the USB, of course. And what you want to do now is to toggle this global menu one more time. And you should still stand on the program 8. So right now what we are seeing is that we are in the global menu number 2, which is the bottom row over here. And the buttons are corresponding. So the buttons are corresponding to what option it is on the lower line. And here you can select with these two what you want to back up, or should say send to the program. If you select program, it will just send the current program. If you select 10, it will send all the 10 programs that you're currently standing on. That will select the current bank that you're standing on. So for example, if you're on user bank 100, it will send the patches 100 up to 199. If you're standing on bank 2, it will be bank 2 up to 299 then. That will send all the user banks. So user bank 0 up to 400 then, which is 500 programs in total. That will send all the data, user bank and factory banks that are on the synthesizer. Which option you prefer to make a backup now, it's all up to you now. I prefer that we take all the user banks. So if you look here in the sysx librarian program, what we should do now is to record the data. Here is something very important to consider, that never select record 1, because that will only catch the first program. You need to select record many. So click this one. And now the program is waiting for the synth to send some data. So it's in this state. So if you go over to the synthesizer now and you have the correct what you want to dump from the synthesizer setup, it's just only to press write once and it starts to send the data. So now it's sending all the data very fast over to the computer. And there it's finished. When this is finished and you have some data here, you can press done. And we get the file over here. I recommend you to go to the file menu when it's selected and take change name. Name it to something that's more convenient, like Trigon 6 backup user banks perhaps. And there you have the file. And if you want to, restore your entire synthesizer now, all you have to do is to press the play button. What happens then is that it will send over all the programs that were recorded in the file back to the synth, and it will write them in the correct order that were received. So for example, user program 000 will be at 000, user program 110 will be put at 110, and so on and so forth. If you want to make a backup of this file or store it, in a better location, you can go to File and you can select Show in Finder. And here you have the file, which is a sysx file that is located on your hard disk drive. So you can place this in copy this or place it in a safe area on your computer. And if you want to not use this file in the menu, you can just remove it with the backspace. And it says, are you sure you want to remove the selected item from the list? Yep. Now it's removed from the list. This one asks if you want to delete the file, move it to trash. I want to keep it, so I press no. So this means that if I go to Finder, I should be able to find the file there. So now we have the file and we are safe and sound. If you look at my custom sounds here, for example, let's say that you want to send one of these files over to the synthesizer. Let's say that I'm going to a program like this one, 330. I should be able to just load it in the temporary memory. For example, let's say that I want to have this patch. I just drag it over and it creates a reference to the file in the MIDI sysx MIDI program. And now if I want to send this over to the temporary buffer memory in the synth, I just press play here. And there it is. Now I have the program inside of the synth buffer memory, but it's not saved. So if I press, for example, the button here, it's resetted. So you need to press the right button if you want to save it on the synthesizer at that place. The reason I made this is that I don't want to force you to have them in a place on your synthesizer that is my place that might not fit in your place on your synthesizer. So that's why I prefer to have them buffer only, so you can write them. So okay, let me show you how you can save this on your synth then. So if you send over the file, and if you want to have it on, let's say, 331, I just press play now, and it's sent over, and I can confirm that the sound is here. And now if I want to save it there, I just press write. I need to press the button there. Now it's saved on the synth. It doesn't matter if I toggle between, and there you have it. That's all it is to it.